So this is an extreme sport, and if you're going to enter it, if you're going to go in it, you owe it to yourself to train hard and put the effort in so that you get the real reward out. And the real reward is actually not getting a photo and a medal at the end. It's wanting to go back and do it again. That's the real reward. Because if you have that, it means that you've actually succeeded in your training. It means that you've crossed the line and it's like, you know what? I was prepared, I did the right stuff, and I conquered this thing, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to do even better next time. But if you don't prepare properly, if you just do your 12 or your 16 weeks, boot camp where you're doing, 50 burpees and here and running 2Ks there and a few mountain climbers and lifting a few things, that's not really going to cut the mustard. What that's going to do is you're going to turn up on race day all excited, thinking, wow, yeah, I've done all this training, and then you're going to get on course, and after about 1 or 2 kilometers, you're going to be busting yourself, and you're going to be realizing, wow, this is a lot harder than I thought. I'm not really enjoying this. But you cross the line, you get your photo, get your medal, post it on social media. Hey everybody, look what I did. Yay, yay, yay. And then you're never seen again, because you know what? You realise just how hard it is. And that's why you've got to train properly. You've got to give it the respect it deserves, because this is an extreme sport. This is one of the toughest sports out there. And you owe it to yourself to be able to do it and do it well. The real reward, like I say, is going back for more, knowing that you did well and that you can do better again. But if you cross that finish line and never go back, well, that's actually a failure. In my mind, your training hasn't set you up. You've been ripped off, first and foremost. You probably trained with some fitness model who's, just said, yeah, do this, do that, blah, 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 to get your hard-earned dollars. And then that's it. And chances are you'll never go back to them again, because, the proof's in the pudding, isn't it? It was harder than fucking what the training was. So, keep it simple. But you've got to be prepared to train specific. And that's what all the top people do. And that's why all the top people keep going back, because they keep getting the results because they know how to train properly. And 50 burpees and a bunch of climbers and a few pull-ups here and there is not going to do it, okay? So be smart. Don't be hanging around fitness models and, the latest fads and blah, blah, blah. If you want to do this and do it properly and come back, because that's the real reward, like I say, come back because you owe it to yourself. That's the real reward in fitness and health, is keeping on doing what you're doing and getting better and better and better. It's all about time in equals results out. I get a bit annoyed with it's because there's so many fitness models all over social media posting workouts that are just completely irrelevant, have no bearing on anything. Most of them aren't even functional exercises. 9 out of 10 of them are downright dangerous. Okay? But everybody's following them because everybody wants to look good. We can all look good, but we don't have to kill ourselves or fake it in the end to get there, And that's why, most trainers who are worth their weight struggle, because that's what they're up against. They're up against a bunch of models who've probably never done, an hour's study on anything in their whole life. They've just, trained. And half the stuff that they're showing you, they probably don't even do themselves. Not if it's sport related. And that's the reality, Reality is that most sports people look the way they do because they train specifically for the sport. There's no point looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger and trying to run up a mountain at pace, because it ain't going to work. You've got to train specific to the goal. Okay? So, like I said before, if you're going to enter one of these races, enter it for the right reasons. because the medal and the photo shoot at the end of the day will become irrelevant to everybody because everybody's doing it. So, you're just a face lost in the crowd. But if you do it for yourself to say, right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to conquer it, and I'm going to set a goal, and I'm going to train specifically to reach that goal and that goal only. Make sure you finish. You want to finish so that you feel good, okay? You don't want to finish so you're absolutely wiped out, even halfway through the race thinking to yourself, what the heck am I doing this for? This is just stupid. You want to keep going, finish, and go, yes, I conquered that. I've done it. I proved to myself that I can do it, and I feel good. And you know what? I can come back and I can do even better, okay? And when you post that online, that's when people look and go, wow, that dude knows or that girl knows what they're doing. That's a success story. Not a haggard, worn out, smashed face holding a medal up going, oh my God, yeah, well, I got the medal like they said I would, and here's the photo to prove I was here, but I'm never ever coming back. Thanks for nothing. All training is specific to a goal. If you want to run a race up and over a mountain, you have to train specifically for that. So your training should reflect what you're going to do. Okay? You wouldn't go swimming in a pool for 3 hours a day if you were running up over a mountain. Okay? Even though pool swimming is still good cardio. It's not going to help you, is it? So, whatever you do, make sure it's specific to your goal. There's a lot of people out there who want to lose weight. So, what do? Well, doing 500 sit-ups a day is not going to help you lose weight, is it? Train specific to your goal. Start with what goes in your mouth. They're just basics that 9 out of 10 people seem to forget because we're bombarded with false images of the way we should be. But that's not everybody, is it? It's one person, And, it's just, it's just ridiculous. Keep it simple, stupid. Pick your goal and train toward that goal. If you have a goal to enter a competition where it's 10,000 burpees in a day, well then that's what you need to do to train for it, isn't it? You're not going to do, 100 pull-ups here, 50 sit-ups there, and 100 burpees there, are you? If you're going to train to win a competition for 1,000 burpees, start training burpees. Okay? And I hate to be banging on about burpees, but that's what I'm saying. If you're going to run up a mountain, train running up mountains. If you're going to do a triathlon, train riding bikes, train running, train swimming. How many triathletes do you see who are doing burpees all day, every day? No. How many triathletes do you see who are doing, all those other things that you see? They're doing them, but to a small percentage in comparison to what they're doing for the main event. And that's where people fall over. They focus so much on the fad, see it in OCR all the time. It's a 24-kilometer race, beast race. It's a Spartan beast race. So their daily 60-minute workout consists of, 30 minutes high-intensity interval training body weight, burpees, pull-ups, push-ups, sit-ups. Well, and that's every day. Well, the race consists primarily of running, and these people are doing all of that and then putting in, sort of a 25, 30-minute run covering 5 or 6 Ks. Well, that's why they're at the end of the tail, and that's why they only ever do 1 or 2 races, because they're not prepared. It's not difficult to change and perform at anything, but you've just got to train right for it. And that's what people fail to do. They don't train correctly, and that's why they fail at what they're doing. But if you change your thinking, then change your training, okay? But you have to actually go to somebody who knows that, who knows how to program that and put it into place. You're not going to find that online. with someone who's just putting out a generic whatever, okay, to the masses. You have to go to somebody who's actually put in the study on how to do these things, how to program for you to make it happen. And then you got to follow the plan, and it's simple. Okay? Well, it's not simple because it'll be more difficult than what you're doing, your 30 minutes of burpees, push-ups and sit-ups, but at the end of the day, the reward will be greater because you're prepared for it. When you're doing your easy 30 push-ups, sit-ups and burpees, that's easy. But on race day, it's a grind because that's where you find out, what sort of training you've done. It's like the old saying, you don't rise to the level of your expectations, you fall to the level of your training. Okay? You train specific, put the graft in, and prepare yourself. On race day, everything should go according to plan. Most people just get lost in the image. They're only training, like I said earlier, because they want to look good. The only reason they want to look good is because I've seen a fitness model or something and gone, wow, that looks really cool, that looks hot, I'd like to look like that. So then they start doing that, hoping to look like that person. Well, that's all well and good, but do you really want to look like that person? Don't you just want to look like yourself and be the best you can be? Just doing a bunch of push-ups, sit-ups and burpees and pull-ups all day, every day is great body conditioners if your sole goal is to look good and be a bit stronger. Yeah, if that's your goal. But how do you measure looking good and being a bit stronger? You still have to find the measurement metric. You still have to work out, yes, yesterday I was this and today I'm that. 9.9 out of 10 people don't do that because they don't know how. I mean, any trainer can do that for you. It's just goal setting and analysis, following a plan, setting a plan and following a plan and making sure you record data. But, your average Joe on the street doesn't do any of that. They just see a picture in a magazine or on the internet and go, that's what I want to look like and that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to keep doing that until I look like that. And, nothing happens in the first sort of 2 months, 3 months, and then all of a sudden, they don't look like the person that they've seen that's probably been doing that for 6 years. And then they just stop. Oh, well, that doesn't work because there's no measurement. And the goal is unrealistic. You've got to have a realistic goal. The whole image thing is just born out of 1960s bodybuilding. Everybody wants to look like Arnold. Well, why would you want to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger? I mean, he must be walking around having an identity crisis with all these people looking like him. I mean, just do what you do for yourself, first and foremost. If you really want, to feel good, look good and be stronger, look at yourself and go, right, what's wrong with me? This is what's wrong. What am I going to do? And then don't go to a magazine. Find someone who can help you if you don't know what to do. It's pretty simple stuff. But that's the thing, And that's why so many trainers are struggling, like I said, or out of business because people have unrealistic expectations and they've got a head full of media BS, basically. It's all BS. Look like this in 5 minutes, 7-minute workout, 60-day boot camp. I mean, come on. You don't get fit and healthy for 60 days and then go back to the couch and sit around eating potato chips. Yeah, done that, tick that off the box, yeah, good as gold. It's a lifestyle. You change your life to be fit and healthy for the rest of your life. Or you start out from the beginning and maintain that, okay? But it's not something you just do to look good for next summer. And now it's wintertime now, well, I'm just going to sit around and eat chocolate cake and drink beer and wine. And wait till next summer and do it all over again. Which is what basically everybody does. because they're doing it wrong and their goals are wrong. And, like I said, the media's got them wrapped around their finger, a head full of bologna sandwich, blah, blah, blah. You're better off, spending a couple of dollars at the beginning, hiring someone or finding someone who can set you on the right path and go from there, because you'll only just be wasting your money in the long term. And any trainer that's, like I said, worth their weight and has got any integrity doesn't want you for a client for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Because if they did, they're a failure. Okay? Unless, you're one of those people who just needs that much work. But come on, let's face it. Probably, 8 out of 10 of us aren't. So if you're sticking with a trainer for that long, well then, you have to question yourself why. Okay? And that should be one of the first things you look at. And it's all about educating yourself, and a good trainer will educate you in the basics. This is what you need to do to keep moving forward once, you and I have met the goals that we need to, so that you can go and keep doing what you're doing on your own. Because, I can't train 4,000 people a week. Do you know what I mean? There's only so many people you can train per week. Okay? So the sooner we get you up to speed, knowing what you're doing and why you're doing it and where you're going, the better for both of us. Because then you can find the right trajectory and maintain it, and I can find a new client who is the same as you, and we can get on the same path again. And that's pretty much the nuts and bolts of it. Well, in my mind, it is anyway. And that's how you should be able to discern between a real trainer and an industry trainer. An industry trainer won't really have a goal in mind for you, or is not really working toward your goal. Because once you've achieved your goal, you should be able to keep going on your own. Okay? But if you don't get the right trainer, that works in their interest. Because once you're gone, it's like, hey, my income's gone. Kind of like a salesman, isn't it? But if you're a decent trainer, if you're not an industry trainer who's all about image and, let's just do the latest fad, and you're actually about getting proper lasting results, like long-term lasting results, and educating your client, okay, you don't actually really need to worry about those things, because word gets around pretty damn quick. Look, if you want to get to where you're going, you want to get there properly and stay on the path, you got to see this person. Don't worry about all that, blah, blah, blah. Put the glossy magazine down. That's the reality, and that's why so many people fail, because they're looking at those magazines, they're finding that trainer who wrote that glossy magazine and ad, and then they're training with them. But nothing's really happening, is it? It's like, yeah, we'll get super fit. Great. Now I can just walk around the beach all day and look good and do nothing for 6 months. Oh, no. Oh, well, I didn't actually learn. I didn't find out what I should actually be doing to maintain where I'm at. Oh, I better go back to that same trainer. Thanks very much. Hey, thanks for coming. It'll be X amount of dollars. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so pretty much the last thing I'm going to say is that if your trainer, coach, whatever you want to call it, is not doing what you're doing, or is asking you to do something but they're not doing it, then, maybe you should start looking somewhere else. Because the reality is that if that's the case, you're taking instruction from someone who A, either can't do what it is that you're doing, or B, if they don't do what it is you're doing, why are they making you do it? Okay, it's pretty simple stuff, really. Okay, and it's no coincidence that, in sports like, say, Ironman, most of the top trainers are ex-Ironman athletes or Iron woman athletes. Why is that? Because they've done what they're asking you to do, they know what it takes, and probably 9 out of 10 of them are still doing it. They're just not doing it on a super competitive level. Okay? But they've all been there and they've all done that. And there's a really great analogy that I can't remember the exact way I heard it, but it's like, if you're going to do something, if you're going to be good at something, you need the master to show you how it's done. You don't want an apprentice, okay? You want the master. So it's a bit like that, isn't it? Actually, the analogy I heard being used was, when you go to a lawyer, you don't go to a law practice or a practicing lawyer because, he or she's still practicing. You want the top person. You want the master, the person who's not a practicing lawyer anymore. The person that everybody wants but no one can get hold of because, they've done it all. They've got all the knowledge. Well, that's what you want in training as well. It's no difference. It's like in sport. Actually, in sport is slightly... there's one thing I was going to highlight here. It takes a very, very special person to be able to tell other people, right, this is what you actually need to do, okay, to be at the peak, and be right about it, okay? It takes a very special person, and you'll go a long way before you find someone who's that person who's 18 to 25. Most of them are in their 50s and 60s and maybe a bit older, because they have the life experience to be able to do that. And you see that in a lot of sports like football, soccer, rugby, all these things, But when it comes to extreme sports, like I say, Ironman, OCR, all those other sports, generally you'll find it'll be people who are actually slightly younger, 35 to 55 maybe, because that's what they do. That's what they've done, If you want to look good, well then, go to an 18 to 25-year-old because they just look good naturally because, the years haven't got to them. They haven't got the wrinkles on their face, have they? No. Okay? But that doesn't mean they know what they're doing. That's the reality. And that's what trainers worth their weight are up against. They're up against people in an industry and that's all about image, which is wrong because it's not about image. It's about being healthy and it's about being fit and it's about being strong, okay? It's not about being beautiful, okay? But in this industry is dominated by this beauty image and all the people that are represented across it that everybody's fallen for, saying, I want to look like that, I want to look like that, are 18 years old to 25, in the prime of their life. Skin's glowing, they're beautiful, they're smiling, teeth look good, eyes are sparkling. Then here's a bunch of, 25 to 55-year-olds going, if I just do X amount of burpees and push-ups and sit-ups and run a kilometre here and there, I'm going to look like that. No, you're not. You're past that. Okay? But you can still be fit, you can still be healthy, and you can still be strong. You just have to train the right way. You're never going to regain that beautiful, youthful glow, okay? And that's the reality. That's why you need to be sensible about, who you're hiring as a trainer or what you're paying for first and foremost, which is the real thing. If you're paying to look like the 18 to 25-year-old and you're 35, well then you're already failed. You're already throwing your money away, okay? That's why you're better off, and even an 18-year-old, you're better off finding a proper trainer, like I say, worth their weight, and setting your goal and going for it. Might be a little more difficult in the beginning, a little more, not much, but long term, you'll outperform every 5-minute fad on the internet. Okay? Simple. Basics, basics. Thanks very much.